So here I have my Intermatic AG series surge protector. You'll notice there's 3 wires. You got 2 blacks and you've got 1 white. And when you look at the instructions, there are 2 different installations. You have a type 1 installation or a type 2 installation. A type 2 installation is going to be at your main breaker panel. We're going to be performing a type 1, which is the typical, where the surge protector wires connect on the line side, not on the load side. So this would be the side coming to the sub panel from your main panel, not from your disconnect to the AC compressor. Now, the type 2 installation is probably why these leads are so long if you were to install it in your main breaker. When we get out next to the sub panel, once this is mounted, we'll be cutting these wires down to size in our installation. Now it's time for the safety side of this. So before I go out to the sub panel, I'm going to come over to my main breaker panel and I'm going to find my breaker. So breakers 7 and 5 are for my AC unit. So from there, I'm going to find breakers 7 through 5 right here, and I'm going to take this to off. Now we're going to go out to the sub panel and with our meter check to make sure there's no electricity. So now we're out at the sub panel. So remember, I have the breaker turned off and the main breaker. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. This doesn't matter that they're both on because the main breaker is open. So now I'm going to take my screwdriver. I'm going to remove these screws. Now keep in mind, you haven't verified that there's no voltage inside here. So just be super careful. So I have my sub-assembly off. And now I'm going to take my meter and I'm in volts AC, which is going to be right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch one of the leads. I'm going to take it to ground. I see no voltage. I'm going to touch the other lead. I'm going to take it to ground, no voltage. I'm going to come across, nothing. So now I know that I have all my voltage off. If you're unsure, once you have your cover pulled off, from there you can go ahead and close your breaker. Keep in mind, all of this is going to be hot at that point, and you can land your leads in the same places and you can see that you have voltage. It'll be 120 volts on each leg, or when you come across both of the legs, you'll see your 240 volts. So now I have my panel removed, and you can see I'm dealing with aluminum and copper wire, which is not too uncommon in homes. When you get to this larger wire size, it's much more cost effective to use aluminum than copper, but there are some things you have to watch out for. Aluminum over time can oxidate, so you'll have to use a compound on it to prevent that, and you don't want to just connect an aluminum wire to a copper wire without a connector that's rated for it. Here I'm also not going to double lug. My panel does not allow for that, so I have a connector, a Polaris connector, that's quite nice. It's rated for my 600 volts to 90C, which matches the ratings that I have on side my panel as well. And you can see it covers from 4 to 14 gauge. So that will cover the pigtail that I'm going to make to be able to tie back into my main point, and it will cover the sides of the aluminum wire and the copper wires. So as you can see now, I've stripped back. I like to cut the ends off that were already being used, and I've stripped back a little bit on both of these wires, and I've cut down my ground. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to battle my knockout, and then going to take my surge protector and I'm going to insert it into the knockout spot with this rubber gasket on the outside of the box. That way I can have a water resistant seal. So what I've already done is I've already cut my pigtail. All you have to do is go to Lowe's or Home Depot or a place like that and go ahead and pick this up. Your box will tell you what size wire you need to use. And then from there, I'll take my Polaris connector and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to connect my aluminum wire in one side. I'm going to put my copper pigtail in the other, and then I'm going to take my surge protector wire and I'm going to insert it down. Now, on the surge protector, you'll see in the instructions that it tells you to cut this wire down as short as possible. So after I install it, I'll take the connectors, I'll find a good spot to tuck them away, and I will cut that wire down to size and torque everything down to the torque ratings. What's really nice about the Polaris connectors as well is you can go ahead and you can take your hex key and insert it in there, and you can already see that there's some of that antioxidant grease in there. So this is a really nice connector. I finished making all my connections to my Polaris connector. These are really nice. You just take your hex key, you insert, and you drive down and take it to your torque value that's on the chart. And then from there you take your little plugs and you go ahead and you insert them. It's a really clean looking connector. Looks beautiful when it's all said and done, and there's not an electrical tape mess in there. So now I'm ready to go ahead and re-energize the circuit. What I'm going to be looking for is the green light coming on solid. So I have the green light and we are completed with the job. Some things to keep in mind and to remember. You may or may not run into aluminum wire. You may have all copper wire, but still do not double lug unless your load center panel is rated for it. So make sure you have the correct type of connector. From there, if you do have aluminum wire, make sure that you're using a connector that has the antioxidation compound in it, or buy a tube of it and apply. But all is done, fairly simple job.